You may believe poverty is your destiny, a chain wrapped around your life since birth. You may look at the small pay, the unpaid bills, the walls that never change, and say to yourself, I was not born for fortune. But Napoleon Hill shattered this lie. He declared that poverty is not a condition of money. It is a condition of thought. And wealth is not first found in a bank, but in a mind that dares to believe. This is the dangerous truth. Men remain poor not because they lack talent, not because they lack hours, not because they lack opportunity, but because they allow their thoughts to drift in poverty. They rehearse lack. They imagine limits. They accept fear. And their subconscious, faithful to every seed planted, produces chains instead of crowns. But you who hear this now, stand at the threshold. You may have been poor yesterday. You may even be poor today. But if you will master your thoughts, if you will plant definite purpose, if you will guard your mind as treasure, you can transform not only your bank account but your destiny. Look at the stories Napoleon Hill gathered. Andrew Carnegie was a poor immigrant, yet his vision of steel crowned him one of the richest men in the world. Henry Ford was a farm boy with no education, yet his imagination turned the world on wheels. Thomas Edison began with failure after failure, yet his persistence gave light to nations. Each began not with wealth, but with mindset. Mark this truth, your outer world reflects your inner world. A poor mind produces poor circumstances. A rich mind produces rich opportunities. The world bends to the man whose thoughts command. The world resists the man whose thoughts drift. Say this with me, I am not chained by poverty. My mind creates wealth. My destiny is mine. Speak it until it breaks the reflex of fear. Repeat it until your subconscious accepts it as law. Because if you do not change your thoughts, no amount of labor will save you. But if you change your thoughts, even the smallest seed of effort will multiply into fortune. This is the opening door. Poverty ends not with wages, not with luck, not with inheritance, but with a shift inside. Your thoughts are the soil. Your beliefs are the seed. Your actions are the water. Wealth is the harvest. And the harvest belongs to those who guard their garden with persistence. Do not deceive yourself. You cannot think poor and live rich. You cannot imagine lack and build abundance. You cannot allow fear to rule and expect faith to reward. You must choose. Today. Right now. Will you remain a prisoner of poverty, or will you seize the crown of wealth by mastering the only tool no one can steal, your mind? Say it again, I am not chained by poverty. My mind creates wealth. My destiny is mine. Let these words be your covenant. For from this moment forward, every thought is either your chain or your crown. The choice rests in your hands. The first mistake that chains men forever is accepting poverty as identity. Poverty may have been the condition of your birth. It may surround you now in the walls of your home, in the balance of your bank, in the doubts of your family. But hear me clearly, poverty is not who you are. Poverty is only a circumstance. And circumstances change the moment thought changes. Yet most men cling to poverty as if it were their name. They say, I am poor, my family is poor, my people are poor. They wear it as a badge, as an explanation, as an excuse. They believe poverty is written in blood, when in truth it is written only in thought. They mistake condition for identity, and by doing so, they lock the chains tighter. Napoleon Hill wrote in Think and Grow Rich, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. But the reverse is also true, whatever the mind conceives as impossible and believes as identity, it will enforce. If you conceive yourself as poor and believe you are poor, you will achieve poverty again and again, no matter what wages you earn. Look at the man who accepts poverty as identity. He receives more pay, but he spends it as fast as it comes. He gains opportunity, but he hesitates, whispering, men like me cannot rise. He is offered alliance, but he rejects it, fearing betrayal. Every door he approaches, his own mind shuts before the world can. His aura radiates limitation. Men feel it and withdraw. Fortune avoids him because his thoughts declare him unworthy. Now look at the man who rejects poverty as identity. He may be born with nothing, but he refuses to call himself poor. He may labor for small pay, but he plants seeds of vision in his mind. He may walk among doubters, but he holds fast to faith in himself. His aura radiates potential. Men feel it and extend opportunity. Fortune bends to him because he claims identity not in poverty but in destiny. Consider Andrew Carnegie again. He began in poverty, a boy in a factory, wages meager, hours endless. He could have said, "I am poor, my life is small, my fate is sealed." But he refused. He declared his mind rich even when his pockets were empty. He cultivated alliances, embraced definite purpose, and his aura attracted wealth beyond measure. His body was born in poverty. His mind was born in abundance. Mark this truth: the world does not reward identity of poverty. It rewards identity of purpose. The man who calls himself poor will remain so. The man who calls himself destined will rise. Your subconscious listens to every word you say about yourself. If you call yourself poor, it will obey. If you call yourself rich in purpose, it will obey. It cannot reject. It only accepts. Say this aloud: I reject poverty as my identity. I declare abundance as my destiny. Repeat it until the sound becomes belief. Speak it until your subconscious no longer tolerates excuses. Write it until your hand knows it as truth. Because if you do not, the voices of your past, the doubts of your family, the whispers of your neighbors will define you. And once you accept their definition, your crown is lost. Do not wait until you have money to declare yourself rich. Money does not change identity. Identity changes money. Napoleon Hill proved it. Every fortune in history began in a mind that refused the label of poverty. Every ruin in history began in a mind that accepted it. By 30, if you accept poverty as identity, your aura is dim. By 40, it is chained. By 50, it is sealed. But if you reject it now, even if your pockets are empty, your decades can crown you. For the world cannot resist a man who believes in his own destiny. Say it again: I reject poverty as my identity. I declare abundance as my destiny. Engrave it in your soul. For poverty is not who you are. It is only where you began. And your beginning does not decide your end. The second mistake that keeps men chained to poverty is believing that wealth belongs only to others. You look at the mansion on the hill, the man who drives past in a car finer than anything you have touched, the entrepreneur who builds an empire, and you whisper, that life is not for me. You believe wealth belongs to them, not to you. And with that one belief, you surrender the greatest treasure you possess, the right to claim destiny. Napoleon Hill taught that every man has the right to be rich. Not a few, not the chosen, not the lucky, but every man who dares to think correctly and persist in his purpose. Wealth is not reserved. It is not a privilege bestowed only upon families of birth. It is the reward of thought disciplined, purpose definite, service abundant, persistence unbreakable. Look at the man who believes wealth belongs only to others. He works hard, yes, but he never expects more than a wage. He obeys his employer, but he never believes he could command others. He admires the wealthy, but he never studies them to imitate their discipline. He consoles himself with the idea that some men are born to rule and others are born to serve. His aura whispers limitation. Men sense it and pass over him. Fortune avoids him because he refuses to claim it. Now look at the man who believes wealth is his right. He may begin small, but he sees every opportunity is open to him. He studies the habits of the rich, not to envy but to adopt. He trains his thoughts daily, declaring, if another man can, so can I. His aura radiates confidence. Men feel it and invest their trust. Fortune bends to him because he dares to believe he belongs at the table of wealth. Consider Henry Ford. He was not born wealthy. He was not chosen by circumstance. He was mocked, opposed, resisted. But he believed wealth was his right. He believed he could create something for the multitude, and his belief commanded his thoughts, which commanded his actions, which commanded his destiny. His aura compelled others to follow him, until the world itself was reshaped by his vision. Mark this truth: what you believe about wealth determines whether it comes to you or flees from you. If you believe it belongs only to others, you will never take the risks, never seize the opportunities, never persist long enough to earn it. But if you believe it belongs also to you, you will act differently, persist longer, demand more from yourself, and fortune will answer. Say this aloud: wealth belongs also to me. I claim my share with thought, belief, and action. Speak it until the hesitation is gone. Repeat it until your subconscious accepts wealth as natural, as certain, as inevitable. Because the world cannot crown a man who doubts himself. But it cannot resist a man who believes he belongs among the crowned. Do not admire wealth only from a distance. Do not console yourself with the lie that you are not meant for it. Every man who ever built fortune began as you are now: uncertain, small, doubted, resisted. The difference was not birth. The difference was belief. By 30, if you believe wealth belongs only to others, you will labor for them your entire life. By 40, you will excuse your condition. By 50, you will accept regret as your only inheritance. But if you believe now, if you declare wealth is also yours, your decades can be crowned. Say it again: wealth belongs also to me. I claim my share with thought, belief, and action. Engrave it until every cell obeys. For wealth is not theirs alone. It is yours also, if you dare to believe it. The third mistake that condemns men to poverty is waiting for the perfect moment. You say to yourself, I will start when the time is right. I will act when I have more money, when I have more knowledge, when I have more connections. You wait for conditions to align like stars, and while you wait, the decades vanish. The truth is brutal: the perfect moment never comes. Those who wait die waiting. Napoleon Hill warned that hesitation disguised as caution robs men of their prime years. He called it the mask of prudence, fear pretending to be wisdom. It whispers, be careful, wait a little longer, gather more proof. And while you wait, opportunities pass to the man who acts. History does not honor the cautious. It crowns the decisive. Look at the man who waits for perfection. He dreams, he plans, he imagines, but he never commits. He rehearses excuses: the market is not ready, the risk is too high, the world is not fair. He sharpens his sword but never enters battle. His aura radiates hesitation. Men sense it and withdraw. Fortune flees from him because he will not claim it. Now look at the man who acts despite imperfection. He begins small, but he begins. He risks ridicule, but he acts. He stumbles, but he learns. His aura radiates decision. Men feel it and support him. Fortune bends to him because he dares to move. Consider Thomas Edison. If he had waited for perfect knowledge, he would never have begun his experiments. He failed thousands of times, yet each failure carried him closer to light. Had he waited for certainty, the world would still be in darkness. But he acted, and the world crowned him. Mark this truth: hesitation costs more than error. A wrong step can be corrected, but no step cannot. A failed attempt teaches, but no attempt enslaves. The timid man believes he is avoiding loss, but in truth he is losing the only resource never restored: time. Say this aloud: I do not wait for perfect moments. I create them by action. Repeat it until your subconscious rejects hesitation. Speak it when fear whispers caution. Declare it until decision feels natural. Because the world rewards motion, not perfection. Do not flatter yourself with preparation without action. Do not excuse yourself with the lie of waiting until conditions are right. Conditions never align until you act. Action itself shapes conditions. Fortune does not come to the man who waits. It comes to the man who builds. By 30, if you wait, your prime strength is wasted. By 40, your hesitation is habit. By 50, your destiny is sealed in regret. But if you act now, even imperfectly, your decades can still crown you. Say it again: I do not wait for perfect moments. I create them by action. Engrave it in your soul. For delay is death, and action is life. The crown belongs not to the cautious, but to the decisive. The fourth mistake that chains men to poverty is serving only wages. You wake each morning, you labor through the day, you return with a paycheck, and you believe that is enough. You measure your value by the hours you sell, by the coins you receive, by the tasks you complete. You say to yourself, I will give only what I am paid for. But hear this truth, the man who serves only wages will remain a servant forever. Napoleon Hill warned of this chain in every lecture. He declared that the world pays most richly the man who gives more than he is paid for. Excess service is the law of increase. When you sow more than you reap, life itself owes you a harvest. But when you calculate narrowly, asking always why should I give more than I receive, you declare yourself small. Your aura whispers limitation, and opportunity withdraws. Look at the man who serves only wages. He works diligently, but always with resentment. He waits for promotion before he gives more. He demands higher pay before he exerts higher effort. He calculates every act, measuring always by what he will get. His aura radiates distrust. Men feel it and withhold advancement. Fortune avoids him because he cheats not his employer but himself. Now look at the man who serves beyond his wages. He pours energy, thought, and care into tasks even when no one watches. He solves problems beyond his position. He treats every act as an investment in his future. His aura radiates abundance. Men feel it and extend opportunity. Fortune bends to him because the law of increase crowns him. Consider Charles M. Schwab. He began in the steelworks as a laborer, but he gave more than his station required. He poured eagerness into every task, searched for ways to solve greater problems, and his aura compelled Andrew Carnegie to lift him from worker to president of an empire. His fortune was not wages. His fortune was the law of excess service. Mark this truth, wages sustain, but excess service multiplies. Wages buy survival, but excess service buys destiny. If you labor only for pay, your decades vanish in repetition. If you labor for purpose, your decades build fortune. Say this aloud, I give more than I am paid for. I prove my worth before reward. My harvest multiplies. Repeat it until calculation dies. Declare it until resentment dissolves. Write it until your hand knows generosity. Because the law of life cannot be cheated. What you sow, you reap, and always in greater measure. Do not believe the lie that you should wait for recognition before you give more. Recognition comes to those who prove themselves first. Do not deceive yourself into thinking you protect your strength by giving less. You waste your strength when you withhold it, for unused power decays. By 30, if you serve only wages, you will remain confined. By 40, your habits will betray you. By 50, your station will be sealed. But if you begin now to sow in excess, even in small tasks, your aura will brighten, your trust will grow, and the world will compete to reward you. Say it again, I give more than I am paid for. I prove my worth before reward. My harvest multiplies. Engrave it into your subconscious. For the man who serves wages alone dies poor. The man who serves purpose is crowned rich. The fifth mistake that condemns men to poverty is drifting without definite purpose. You rise each morning, you labor through the day, you sleep each night, but you cannot answer the question, where is this leading me? You confuse activity with advancement, busyness with progress, survival with destiny. You live as a ship without a rudder, blown by every wind, tossed by every wave, and you wonder why you never arrive. Napoleon Hill declared that the starting point of all achievement is definite purpose. Without it, no man commands fortune. Without it, every effort scatters, every day drifts, every year vanishes. The man with no definite purpose may work hard, but his hard work feeds only survival. The man with definite purpose may stumble, but even his failures bend him closer to his aim. Look at the man who drifts. He takes jobs, but he never builds a career. He earns wages, but he never builds wealth. He pursues hobbies, but he never creates mastery. He accepts the opinions of others as his compass. He floats from one idea to another, never planting, never persisting, never harvesting. His aura radiates uncertainty. Men feel it and distrust him. Fortune avoids him because he refuses to declare where he is going. Now look at the man of definite purpose. He may be unknown today, but he has written his chief aim. He bends each act, each decision, each habit toward it. He refuses distractions, rejects drift, and shapes his time as treasure. His aura radiates clarity. Men feel it and align with him. Fortune bends to him because he knows what he wants and declares it. Consider Abraham Lincoln. He lost election after election, business after business, but he bent every failure toward his definite purpose to preserve the Union and rid it of slavery. His defeats did not destroy him. They prepared him. His aura of clarity, tested in fire, compelled a nation to trust him. Contrast him with the politicians of his age, busy with speeches and errands, but with no definite aim. They are forgotten. Lincoln is remembered. Mark this truth: the world trusts the man who knows where he is going. It distrusts the man who drifts. Definite purpose multiplies your energy. Drift wastes it. Definite purpose commands the subconscious. Drift leaves it prey to fear and doubt. Definite purpose attracts allies. Drift isolates you. Say this aloud: I have a definite purpose. Every act bends toward it. Drift cannot rule me. Repeat it until your subconscious accepts it as law. Write it until your hand knows direction. Declare it until your aura radiates clarity. Do not deceive yourself. You cannot drift and hope to arrive. You cannot live without aim and expect fortune. Later will not bring purpose. Later never comes. Purpose begins now. Purpose begins with choice. By 30, if you drift, your energy is wasted. By 40, your habits are sealed. By 50, your destiny is lost. But if you write your definite purpose now, even if the world doubts, your decades can crown you. Say it again: I have a definite purpose. Every act bends toward it. Drift cannot rule me. Engrave it into your soul. For the man of purpose commands destiny. The drifter is forgotten. The man of purpose is crowned. The sixth mistake that keeps men in poverty is quitting after the first defeat. You attempt something once, you fail, and you conclude it was not meant for you. You strike at the stone once, it does not break, and you drop the hammer forever. You plant a seed, it does not sprout in a week, and you abandon the field. You confuse temporary defeat with permanent failure, and by doing so, you bury your destiny. Napoleon Hill warned of this habit. He told the story of Arthur Darby, who quit digging for gold when the vein seemed lost. He sold his machinery to a junkman, who brought in an engineer and discovered the gold lay just 3 feet deeper. Darby was 3 feet from fortune, but he surrendered. That surrender cost him millions. Look at the man who quits at the first defeat. He tries business, it stumbles, and he says, "Business is not for me." He tries to sell, he is rejected, and he says, "I was not made for persuasion." He pursues a vision, it resists, and he says, "Perhaps it was not meant to be." He develops the habit of quitting, and each time he surrenders, his subconscious engraves weakness deeper. His aura radiates instability. Men feel it and withdraw trust. Fortune avoids him because his thoughts broadcast surrender. Now look at the man who persists beyond defeat. He tries business, it stumbles, but he learns. He tries to sell, he is rejected, but he refines. He pursues a vision, it resists, but he persists. Each time he endures, his subconscious engraves strength. His aura radiates steadiness. Men feel it and invest confidence. Fortune bends to him because his thoughts broadcast endurance. Consider Abraham Lincoln. He lost election after election, business after business, even the woman he loved. Yet he refused surrender. Each defeat deepened his persistence. His aura grew unshakable, and in the hour of national crisis, men trusted him because they sensed his endurance. His greatness was not in avoiding defeat, but in refusing to let defeat define him. Mark this truth: defeat is never final unless you accept it. Temporary defeat is the seed of victory if you persist. Failure is not falling. Failure is staying down. The man who rises again, no matter how many times he falls, compels respect. The man who quits, even once, invites contempt. Say this aloud: I persist until victory is mine. Delay cannot break me. Defeat cannot define me. Repeat it until quitting feels foreign. Declare it until persistence feels natural. Write it until your hand knows endurance. Do not excuse yourself with the lie that failure means fate. Do not console yourself with the thought that perhaps it was not meant to be. Everything great resists at first. Every worthy aim tests its pursuer. The test is not to destroy you. The test is to prove you. By 30, if you quit after first defeat, you will have mastered excuses. By 40, surrender will be reflex. By 50, your destiny will be buried. But if you persist now, if you endure beyond failure, your decades will crown you. Say it again: I persist until victory is mine. Delay cannot break me. Defeat cannot define me. Engrave it into your subconscious. For fortune crowns not the swift, not the clever, but the persistent. The seventh mistake that condemns men to poverty is isolating yourself from allies. You tell yourself, I can do it alone. I do not need others. I cannot trust anyone. You mistake independence for strength, and you mistake isolation for power. But hear this truth: the lone candle flickers in the wind, while the bonfire of many flames cannot be extinguished. Napoleon Hill revealed one of the greatest secrets of wealth, the mastermind principle. When two or more minds harmonize around a definite purpose, a new power is born. It is not theory. It is force. It multiplies energy, amplifies vision, and creates a radiance greater than the sum of its parts. No empire was ever built alone. Every fortune was multiplied through alliance. Look at the man who isolates himself. He refuses counsel, fearing betrayal. He mistrusts allies, believing secrecy protects him. He works in silence, never opening his plans to the wisdom of others. He labors harder, but not smarter. His aura radiates smallness. Men feel it and pass by. Fortune avoids him because he refuses harmony. Now look at the man who embraces allies. He chooses carefully, yes, but he unites with those of vision and persistence. He shares his definite purpose, invites counsel, multiplies force. His aura radiates abundance. Men feel it and join him. Fortune bends to him because harmony amplifies his strength. Consider Andrew Carnegie. He confessed openly that his wealth was not the product of his own hands alone, but of his alliance with men of skill and faith. He surrounded himself with engineers, financiers, organizers, each harmonized to his purpose. The aura of that alliance built an empire of steel. Without his mastermind, Carnegie would have remained another ambitious immigrant. With it, he became one of the richest men of his age. Consider also Henry Ford. His vision was bold, but his stubbornness was legendary. Even he drew strength from alliance. His friendship with Thomas Edison encouraged him when the world mocked his dream. Their combined aura amplified each man's force. Ford did not invent alone. He united with allies who believed. That is why his motorcar filled the world while thousands of mechanics working alone vanished. Mark this truth: isolation diminishes power. Harmony multiplies it. Alone, your aura flickers. United, it blazes. Alone, you may labor bravely, but you will exhaust. United, you carry burdens beyond imagination. Alone, you may glow for a moment, but united, you light the world. Say this aloud: I unite with chosen allies. Together, our radiance bends events. Repeat it until pride yields. Declare it until fear dissolves. Write it until your hand knows harmony. Because the world does not crown the isolated. It crowns the allied. Do not excuse yourself with pride, saying you need no one. Pride blinds. Do not excuse yourself with fear, saying men will disappoint you. Fear deceives. Do not excuse yourself with busyness, saying you cannot invest time in alliances. Busyness enslaves. These excuses are the language of poverty. By 30, if you isolate, you waste your prime decades. By 40, your habits will betray you. By 50, your candle will flicker into darkness. But if you form alliances now, even one faithful ally, your aura will blaze. Fortune cannot resist the fire of harmony. Say it again, I unite with chosen allies. Together, our radiance bends events. Engrave it into your soul. For the man who isolates dies small. The man who allies commands destiny. The eighth mistake that condemns men to poverty is confusing busyness with progress. You fill your days with tasks, your hours with errands, your weeks with endless activity. You rise early, you move constantly, you collapse at night exhausted, and you believe you are advancing. But when asked, what have you built, you point only to wages spent and duties repeated. Your life is a wheel spinning furiously yet tied to the same post. Napoleon Hill called this the tyranny of busyness. Men mistake motion for growth. They confuse fatigue with fulfillment. They measure value in hours, not in advancement. But the world does not reward the man who works hardest. It rewards the man who works with definiteness. Look at the man trapped in busyness. He runs from meeting to meeting, from task to task, but he never asks, does this carry me toward my definite purpose? He shuffles papers, answers calls, fills schedules, but his life drifts. His aura radiates strain without direction. Men feel it and withdraw. Fortune avoids him because he mistakes activity for achievement. Now look at the man of direction. He may complete fewer tasks, but each bends toward his purpose. He measures his days not by hours, but by advancement. He says no to distraction, no to noise, no to scatter. His aura radiates clarity. Men feel it and invest trust. Fortune bends to him because he knows where he is going and he moves toward it. Consider Abraham Lincoln again. He endured defeat after defeat, but each act, each speech, each campaign was bent toward his aim to preserve the Union and abolish slavery. He was not the busiest politician. He was the most definite. That definiteness compelled a nation to follow him when the hour of crisis came. Contrast him with the men of his age who filled days with speeches, errands, and compromises. They were busy, but they are forgotten. Mark this truth, busyness is a narcotic. It feels like progress, but it is drift disguised as diligence. It robs men of decades, leaving them exhausted but unfulfilled, tired but unrewarded, alive but unremembered. Say this aloud, I measure by advancement, not hours. Every act bends toward my definite aim. Repeat it until your subconscious demands direction. Declare it until busyness disgusts you. Write it until your hand knows clarity. Do not excuse yourself with the lie, I am too busy to plan. I am too busy to think. I am too busy to define my purpose. That confession is slavery. Planning saves decades. Thinking multiplies force. Purpose shapes destiny. Busyness without aim is drift. By 30, if you confuse busyness with progress, you will waste your strength. By 40, your habits will chain you. By 50, your destiny will be buried under errands. But if you align your actions now, if you bend every act to purpose, your decades will crown you. Say it again, I measure by advancement, not hours. Every act bends toward my definite aim. Engrave it into your subconscious. For the world crowns not the busiest, but the most definite. The ninth mistake that condemns men to poverty is letting emotions control them. Inside you burns a fire, passion, anger, ambition, love, imagination, desire. This fire is power. It can build empires or it can leave only ashes. The tragedy is that most men never learn to master their fire. They squander it in quarrels, in indulgence, in envy, in pleasures that fade. They believe they are alive because they feel the flame, but they do not know that undirected fire destroys. Napoleon Hill warned of this danger and gave the antidote, the law of transmutation. You cannot kill passion. To attempt suppression is to kill vitality itself. But you can command it. You can transmute raw emotion into achievement. You can direct desire into persistence, anger into resolve, ambition into enterprise, sorrow into endurance, love into devotion. The man who masters this law glows with radiance. The man who ignores it burns himself to ruin. Look at the man ruled by emotion. His ambition melts into jealousy when others rise. His passion spills into indulgence. His anger explodes in quarrels that destroy trust. His frustration paralyzes him. He feels alive, yes, but he is burning his own house down. His aura radiates chaos. Men sense instability and withdraw. Fortune avoids him because his fire consumes rather than creates. Now look at the man who directs emotion. His ambition becomes fuel for long nights of work. His frustration becomes persistence that outlasts obstacles. His sorrow becomes depth that inspires others. His anger becomes resolve against injustice. His aura radiates steadiness and power. Men feel it and trust him. Fortune bends to him because his fire builds instead of burns. Consider Thomas Edison. His passion was intense, his frustration frequent, but he transmuted them into invention. His sleepless nights, his countless failures, his burning desire were all fuel for the lamp, the phonograph, the thousand creations that carried his name into history. His fire did not consume him. It consumed obstacles. Consider Abraham Lincoln. His life was filled with grief and defeat, but he transmuted sorrow into endurance, compassion, and unshakable resolve. His aura of calm authority was not natural. It was forged by mastering his emotions. Men trusted him in the darkest hours because they felt his fire was disciplined. Mark this truth: emotions are not your enemy. They are your servants if you command them, but your masters if you drift. The man who suppresses fire becomes lifeless. The man who wastes fire becomes ruined. The man who directs fire becomes crowned. Say this aloud: I turn fire into force. My emotions serve my purpose, not my weakness. Repeat it until every passion bends to decision. Declare it until anger obeys, until ambition serves, until sorrow strengthens. Write it until your hand knows mastery. Do not deceive yourself. You cannot live without fire. But you must choose: will your fire build your fortune, or will it consume your destiny? By 30, if you let emotions rule you, you will burn bridges. By 40, you will burn your strength. By 50, you will burn your future. But if you master emotions now, your decades will blaze with creation. Say it again: I turn fire into force. My emotions serve my purpose, not my weakness. Engrave it into your subconscious. For the world crowns not the man without fire, but the man who commands it. The 10th mistake that keeps men in poverty is indecision. You know what you want, you even dream of it, yet you delay. You weigh choices endlessly. You wait for perfect certainty. You consult fear more than faith. While you hesitate, the decisive man acts, seizes the opportunity, and builds fortune while you are still thinking. Napoleon Hill wrote that decision is the seat of power. Infinite intelligence responds more swiftly to decisive faith than to timid prudence. The man who decides grows stronger with each choice. The man who delays grows weaker with each hesitation. Delay compounds into drift, and drift compounds into ruin. Look at the man trapped in indecision. He thinks, but he never commits. He considers, but he never executes. He rehearses choices in his mind until they rot into excuses. He congratulates himself on caution, but his aura radiates hesitation. Men feel it and withdraw. Fortune avoids him because he cannot be trusted to act. Now look at the man who decides. He may not always be right, but he moves. He commits, he learns, he adjusts. His aura radiates confidence. Men feel it and follow him. Fortune bends to him because the world respects decisiveness more than perfection. Consider Henry Ford. When he declared he would build a car for the multitude, scholars mocked him, financiers refused him, experts dismissed him. Had he waited for proof, he would have delayed until opportunity died. But he decided, he acted, he persisted. His aura of decision compelled men to believe. Today, his name endures because he dared to move. Mark this truth: hesitation costs more than error. A wrong step can be corrected. No step cannot. A poor decision may teach you. No decision enslaves you. The timid man imagines he avoids risk by waiting. In truth, he wastes the only treasure beyond recovery, time. Say this aloud: my decisions are law. I do not confuse fear with wisdom. Fortune obeys decisive faith. Repeat it until hesitation disgusts you. Declare it until decision feels natural. Write it until your hand knows command. Do not flatter yourself with endless planning. Do not excuse delay with the lie of caution. Safety is never perfect. But decision builds momentum, and momentum conquers resistance. The room feels your fear before you speak it. The world senses your hesitation before you reveal it. But it also feels your authority when you decide, even amid uncertainty. By 30, if indecision rules you, opportunity will flee. By 40, hesitation will be your habit. By 50, your destiny will be sealed in regret. But if you decide now, if you act with courage, your decades will crown you. Say it again: my decisions are law. I do not confuse fear with wisdom. Fortune obeys decisive faith. Engrave it into your subconscious. For history does not honor the cautious. It crowns the decisive. The 11th mistake that condemns men to poverty is neglecting the inner temple. Inside every man is a place unseen, a chamber of thought where desire meets faith, where the subconscious listens, where infinite intelligence answers. This is your temple. If you guard it, it becomes a sanctuary of power. If you neglect it, it becomes hollow, and a hollow temple cannot crown you. Napoleon Hill warned that most men ignore this sacred chamber. They rush about, they labor, they argue, they plan, but they never retreat into silence. They never commune with their subconscious. They never decree their purpose. They never renew their faith. Their temple grows empty. Their aura reflects only noise, not command. Look at the man who neglects his inner temple. He fills his mind with gossip, with fear, with doubt. He wakes with distraction, he sleeps with worry. His subconscious, faithful servant that it is, accepts whatever it is fed. He speaks poverty to himself, and poverty answers. His aura radiates weakness. Men sense it and withdraw. Fortune avoids him because his thoughts broadcast drift. Now look at the man who fills his temple. Each morning, he enters silence. He decrees his definite purpose aloud. He speaks gratitude as law. He impresses faith upon his subconscious, and it obeys. Each night, he repeats affirmations until sleep engraves them. His subconscious, filled with purpose, broadcasts strength. His aura radiates certainty. Men feel it and invest confidence. Fortune bends to him because he guards his temple. Consider Booker T. Washington. Born in bondage, surrounded by limitation, opposed by prejudice, he could have filled his temple with resentment. But he chose faith. He filled his inner chamber with vision, gratitude, and persistence. His aura radiated so strongly that men who might have opposed him instead supported him. His greatness was not circumstance. It was covenant. Consider also Abraham Lincoln. In the darkest hours of war, when defeat pressed close, when allies abandoned him, he retreated into silence. There he sought not newspapers or politicians, but the unseen current of infinite intelligence. His calm authority was not natural. It was cultivated in the temple. A weary nation felt it and trusted him. Mark this truth: the subconscious is always listening. If you do not feed it deliberately with faith, purpose, and gratitude, it will feed on fear, doubt, and criticism. You cannot escape this law. The temple is never empty. It is either filled with weakness or with power. Say this aloud: I enter my inner court. I decree my aim. Infinite intelligence aligns with me. Repeat it morning and night. Declare it before sleep, when your subconscious is most open. Declare it upon waking, when your mind is fresh. Fill your temple before the world fills it with fear. Do not excuse yourself with the lie, I am too busy to reflect. That is the confession of drift. 10 minutes of silence will save you decades of waste. 5 affirmations spoken daily will redirect your destiny. By 30, if you neglect your temple, your aura will dim. By 40, your subconscious will be chained. By 50, regret will be sealed. But if you fill your temple now, your decades will blaze with power. Say it again, I enter my inner court. I decree my aim. Infinite intelligence aligns with me. Engrave it into your subconscious. For the hollow temple ruins even men of talent. The filled temple crowns even men of humble birth. The 12th mistake that condemns men to poverty is refusing persistence. You begin with energy, but the moment resistance rises, you falter. You plant a seed, but you do not water it long enough to grow. You strike at the stone, but you abandon it before it cracks. You start a path, but you leave it at the first obstacle. You confuse the test of persistence with the verdict of failure, and so you bury what could have crowned you. Napoleon Hill declared that persistence is to success what carbon is to steel. Without it, every vision bends, every plan collapses, every fortune disappears. The world does not yield at the first knock. It waits to see if you will knock again and again and again. The man who persists is proven. The man who quits is discarded. Look at the man who refuses persistence. He starts one business at 30, abandons it after the first loss. He starts another at 35, abandons it when capital resists. He starts another at 40, abandons it when clients reject him. By 50, he has mastered nothing but excuses. His aura radiates instability. Men feel it and withhold trust. Fortune avoids him because he broadcasts surrender. Now look at the man who clings to persistence. He starts one business, it resists, he endures. He starts another campaign, it fails, he learns. He starts another path, it tests him, he persists. By 50, he has mastered endurance. His aura radiates steadiness. Men feel it and invest confidence. Fortune bends to him because he proves he cannot be broken. Consider Henry Ford. His early models failed. His investors withdrew. His reputation was mocked. Yet he persisted. He endured lawsuits, ridicule, opposition, resistance. But his persistence grew stronger than any obstacle. His aura of endurance compelled financiers, workers, and the world itself to follow him. His fortune was not built by talent alone, but by persistence unbroken. Mark this truth, the habit of persistence is the antidote to the habit of surrender. Each time you refuse to quit, you engrave strength into your subconscious. Each time you persist, your aura brightens. Each time you endure, opportunity bends. Say this aloud, I persist until victory is mine. Delay cannot break me. Defeat cannot define me. Repeat it until surrender disgusts you. Declare it until persistence feels natural. Write it until your hand knows endurance. Do not excuse yourself with the lie, maybe it was not meant for me. Everything meant for greatness resists at first. The resistance is not a verdict against you. It is the test of your worth. By 30, if you refuse persistence, you will already be drifting. By 40, surrender will be your habit. By 50, your destiny will be sealed in regret. But if you persist now, even through small obstacles, your decades will crown you. Say it again, I persist until victory is mine. Delay cannot break me. Defeat cannot define me. Engrave it into your soul. For fortune crowns not the gifted, but the tireless. The 13th mistake that condemns men to poverty is guarding thoughts poorly. Your mind is the gate through which all fortune enters. It is also the gate through which ruin slips in. What you allow to dwell in thought, your subconscious accepts as law. What your subconscious accepts, it multiplies. Yet most men guard their homes more fiercely than their minds. They lock their doors against thieves, but they leave their thoughts open to fear, doubt, criticism, and complaint. Napoleon Hill warned that your subconscious never sleeps. It is always listening, always recording, always broadcasting. If you feed it poverty, it produces chains. If you feed it wealth, it produces crowns. The man who guards thoughts poorly is like a farmer who plants weeds and wonders why his harvest fails. Look at the man careless with his thoughts. He repeats to himself, I cannot, I am not enough, I will fail. He surrounds himself with complainers who speak weakness. He listens to gossip, absorbs doubt, entertains fear. His subconscious accepts it all and obeys. His aura radiates insecurity. Men feel it and withdraw. Fortune avoids him because his thoughts repel it. Now look at the man who guards his thoughts with vigilance. He refuses gossip. He rejects fear. He silences doubt. He surrounds himself with faith, with affirmations, with definite purpose. His subconscious accepts strength, multiplies it, and broadcasts it. His aura radiates confidence. Men feel it and trust him. Fortune bends to him because his thoughts attract it. Consider Thomas Edison again. He confessed that many of his ideas came as sudden flashes, as if whispered by infinite intelligence. Why? Because he guarded his mind from complaint and filled it with persistence. His subconscious was trained to be receptive to inspiration, not fear. His thoughts were soil fertile for invention. Mark this truth, every thought is a seed. Each seed multiplies. Poverty is not planted by accident. It is planted by careless thought. Wealth is not planted by chance. It is planted by guarded thought. Say this aloud, I guard my thoughts as treasure. I feed my mind only with faith, purpose, and abundance. Repeat it until complaint disgusts you. Declare it until gossip feels like poison. Write it until your hand knows vigilance. Do not excuse yourself with the lie, thoughts do not matter. Thoughts shape everything. Your words flow from them. Your actions bend to them. Your destiny is built upon them. To neglect your thoughts is to neglect your fortune. By 30, if you allow negative thought, your subconscious will already be enslaved. By 40, your aura will broadcast weakness. By 50, your destiny will be sealed in regret. But if you guard your thoughts now, your decades will crown you. Say it again, I guard my thoughts as treasure. I feed my mind only with faith, purpose, and abundance. Engrave it into your subconscious. For the man careless with thought is ruined. The man vigilant with thought commands destiny. The final reckoning is this, poverty or wealth, the choice is yours. Not the choice of your family, not the choice of society, not the choice of fate. Yours. Every man stands at this crossroad. Some drift into chains, others climb into crowns. The difference is not birth, not luck, not talent. The difference is mindset and persistence. Napoleon Hill proved that every fortune begins in thought. Carnegie, Ford, Edison, Rockefeller, none began rich. They began as ordinary men, but they refused the ordinary thoughts that condemn most men. They guarded their minds, they chose definite purpose, they acted decisively, they persisted through defeat, they united with allies, they transmuted emotion, they sowed excess service. Their lives became testimony that riches begin not in gold, but in the mind that dares to think in abundance. Now mark this truth, poverty is also a choice. It is the choice to drift, to wait, to excuse, to surrender, to believe wealth belongs only to others, to let fear disguise itself as prudence, to serve only wages, to neglect the temple of the mind. These choices seem small. They whisper, not shout. But year after year they compound until the bill arrives. By 50 the chains are locked. By 60 they are unbreakable. Look at the man who drifts into poverty. He begins with excuses, he continues with hesitation, he ends with regret. His aura radiates weakness. Men forget him or remember him only as wasted potential. He dies poor not only in money but in spirit. Now look at the man who claims wealth as destiny. He begins with decision, he continues with persistence, he ends with abundance. His aura radiates confidence. Men trust him, follow him, reward him. He lives rich not only in money but in influence, in character, in legacy. Say this aloud, I choose wealth. I choose purpose. I choose persistence. Poverty is not my destiny. My mind creates fortune. Repeat it until choice becomes conviction. Declare it until conviction becomes habit. Write it until your hand knows certainty. Because your subconscious will obey. Infinite intelligence will answer. The world itself will bend. Do not wait for another decade to decide. Later is the language of regret. Now is the language of destiny. This is the reckoning. Poverty or wealth. Fear or faith. Chains or crowns. You cannot escape the choice, but you can command it. By 30, your path begins to seal. By 40, your habits define you. By 50, the verdict is clear. But today, in this hour, you can choose again. You can reject poverty as identity. You can claim wealth as birthright. You can fill your temple, guard your thoughts, unite with allies, persist beyond defeat, and act with decisiveness. You can choose the path that crowns you. Say it once more with full conviction: I choose wealth. I choose purpose. I choose persistence. Poverty is not my destiny. My mind creates fortune. Let these words engrave themselves in your subconscious until they blaze in your aura. This is the secret Napoleon Hill revealed. This is the covenant of thought. This is the law of wealth. The world does not decide for you. You decide. And the decades ahead will obey your decision. The choice is in your hands. Poverty or wealth. Chains or crowns. Drift or destiny. Decide now, act now, persist now. And when history writes your name, it will not write regret. It will write radiance.